Hi guys! Today I am going to be doing a video that I see a lot on the internet, and that, especially around back to school time, is very popular, and that is a freshman advice video. So I am going to be a sophomore this year in about 2 weeks. So seeing as I was just a sophomore, I thought I was pretty qualified to give some advice to freshmen. So let's get into the advice. So this video is going to be set up in little blocks of the kind of advice I'm giving, and those are going to be on like bullying and schoolwork and organization. And so let's get started with the first one, which is I have here in my notepad, which is organization. So the first thing I have to say about that is that a one-subject notebook can be your best friend. Now, usually most teachers want you to get a 3 or 4 subject notebook, but for classes like electives or sometimes languages that you know are not going to need such a bulky notebook, one subject notebooks can really be your friend for that and are better for going in your backpack. Because by the end of the year, you're going to look at your notebooks and see that you did not use even half of it. And so 1 to 2 subject notebooks can be a lot better than getting those bigger notebooks when you're not going to use the whole thing and you're going to waste more paper and you're going to just end up not needing the whole thing. So the next thing I have to say is to find a pen you really like. Now, I know a lot of people really like ink pens, but I'm actually a really big fan of just like cheap gel pens because I think they write really well and they're great for note-taking. And the reason for this is going to be if you take an AP class or something like a history class, there's going to be a lot of notes and notes taking from the book. And those are going to require a lot of paper and a lot of notes, and you're going to need a pen you really like, because if you're going back and forth, I tend to like all of mine to look exactly the same, and if you're not like that, then, you know, this doesn't really apply to you, but I say get a pen, find one that you really like, if that's a gel pen or, you know, mine was just a pen I found in my teacher's classroom, and he tended to get a lot of them, so I would just, you know, go up there, snatch one, take it, and put them in my little pencil case. So the next thing is to, before the school year starts, make sure you have room in your backpack for everything. So when you go and get school supplies, or if you are waiting to get school supplies, make sure you have room in your backpack, because you don't want to, throughout the rest of the school year, be trying to fit several binders or notebooks or expand files into your backpack like right when you're trying to leave class. That can take up a lot of time, and it can cause a lot of stress when you're trying to leave a busy classroom when people are coming in and you're going out. I would just say either get a bigger backpack or get less school supplies or get binders that aren't as big. Definitely make sure the things fit in really easily, so it just saves you time. The next thing would be, don't let your backpack or locker get out of control, or things like your binders or the little file organizers you can get. If you do this, it'll make your life way more stressful. I know I definitely did this right around winter break, and so when finals came around and I was trying to get everything out to study for, it was a disaster, and I was trying to find everything to study for, and when I went to look for papers, I couldn't find them, or they were crumpled up in my backpack, and I was freaking out to try to find them. So definitely maybe once a month or once every 2 months, go in there and just, you don't even have to organize the whole thing. Just organize a little so that things just don't get out of hand. Because when they do get out of hand, you will notice. And when you are trying to leave classes or get homework out, you can't find it, go to your locker, and things are just completely lost. And it is no fun. So I would say just avoid that completely. So the next thing that I'm going to talk about is dating, and recently on Instagram I've seen a lot of those like self-care pages talk about this, and it's pretty self-explanatory. Not all freshmen date is definitely the first piece of advice. I know a lot of people are going to go into freshman year and definitely want a boyfriend or a girlfriend or just someone to be with, and I'm just going to say that I know not all freshmen date, not all sophomores date, not a lot of people, obviously people date in high school, but it is not as big of a part of the social scene as you think. So you don't have to get all caught up about that and think that when you're going in that it has to be first about finding that person and then about school. I definitely say make it more about school, and then if there's a person you like, go after them. The next is it will complicate things. This is definitely not like High School Musical or Glee. Actually, I guess it would be more similar to Glee. It will complicate things. I know definitely anytime I tried to get into a relationship, it would mess up my schoolwork because I was really stressed about it, or I just couldn't really find the time to do it, or just the person I was trying to be with, it just didn't really work out. And I guess that may just be my relationship problems. Oof. But generally, it just makes things a lot more complicated in high school because we are a bunch of just like hormone raging monsters running around in school hallways. So I say, you could just avoid it all and make things easier. The next thing is definitely don't feel pressured by like the media or your friends to be in a relationship. I know a big thing right now is like ships. So if one of your friends is like saying that you really need to be in this relationship, like you guys would be so cute together, you don't have to do that. Like it's not necessary, or you definitely just don't have to be in a relationship if you don't want to be. And if you find someone, if you want to be with them, if it feels right freshman year, do it, go for it. The final thing would be, if a senior hits on you and you're 14, it's weird. Do not date seniors as freshmen. Okay, so the next thing is gonna really revolve around school rules. And I know that a lot of people think that their school rules are stupid. I know I definitely have a few that I think are stupid. So the first one I'm going to talk about is dress codes. I think dress codes are pretty much bullshit because they are just really to pick on girls and their sexuality as they get older, but that's just my personal opinion. Other people think otherwise, but they're there and you have to follow them. Some ways I get around them is when I have a dress that's way too short or a skirt that's way too short, I put like tights, or you can put leggings under them. Or if your school doesn't allow like spaghetti straps, you can put, or like a dress like this, I do a turtleneck under it. Or you can do like those like wider like tank tops, you can wear those instead. Yeah, so turn my page. The next part is about bullying, and this is going to be pretty short and it's pretty self-explanatory. It's pretty much, if you are being harassed or bullied at school, tell someone, most likely tell an administrator, because it will just make your life so much easier. I know in definitely like middle school, it's a lot harder to do because it's smaller and there's like, it will like get out and it'll get you like even more bullied if you tell. But in high school, I know my freshman year, there was like a group of guys that were being like dicks to me, and I told one of the administrators, and it actually got like, it all got figured out, and now they don't like talk to me anymore. And like my parents were like really happy with the situation, and so am I. And like no one like made fun of me for doing that. So I would say definitely go ahead and talk to someone, like even if it's just a teacher. Okay, so the next part is obviously what school is all about, and that would be schoolwork. And first thing is just do it. Like, There's no getting around it. You have to do it. And if you just tend to avoid schoolwork or put it off and don't turn in assignments, you will get crappy grades, and your parents can get mad at you, and your teachers can like tend to not like you. But if you you don't even have to put in that much effort. Like if like B's and C's are fine with you, you don't have to put in that much effort to get those grades. So the final thing I'm going to talk about, and maybe the most important thing that I dealt with in high school, was friends. So moving from middle school to high school is definitely big because you'll have friends that will go to different schools, and you will end up losing friends. And it's not always bad. Think of it as like a spring cleaning. That sounds awful, but it really can end up being like that. And if you are like in a friend group currently that you don't really want to be in, moving to a new school or going into high school can be a really good opportunity because you'll be put in new classes. There are generally like an A and B, or even up to like A through D lunch. So you'll have different lunches, different schedules, lockers that are far away from each other. That's another thing. You don't like spend that much time at your locker generally. It's usually like a fast thing. But yeah. So friends will change in high school. But with losing the friends, you will gain a lot of friends in high school. Okay, so that's all I have for you guys today. I hope that helped at least someone out there with their struggles of going into freshman year. I know when I was going into freshman year, I watched a ton of these videos to receive some help with that, and they helped me. And I know from someone that was like a little more experienced, they definitely were some good advice. So yeah, I hope this helps someone, and I hope you guys have a fantastic day. Like and subscribe, and maybe leave a comment saying what you were excited about for going back into school. And bye!